Day 2 in the books, Rube. How you doing?
Doing well. Not as well as you, but doing well.
That's probably fair. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast brought to you by Nissan, Reuben Frank, and Dave Zangaro. We just got back over from the NovaCare Complex, day 2 of training camp. A little bit longer of a practice today.
A little bit. What they go, about an hour and a half?
Yeah, just under an hour and a half, including the developmental period. So that's kind of the way they do training camp. They stretch it out a little bit. Today was a bit of a weird practice, though.
It was. It was. And I know I was wondering, I'm always wondering, what's your lead item going to be in your practice observations? And I found myself, there was no hook. There was no great play or no individual standout. But yeah, they were grinding.
Yeah, it was so much of the Eagles training camp, and I really appreciate this, is ones versus ones. So you just see great competition all the time. They did a little bit less of that today, and they spent a lot of time in 7-on-7 drills, and then they even spent a lot of time just getting into the teamwork today. So yeah, a little harder to find some observations, but we always have a ton. I mean, there's always plenty to watch.
And if there's not, you'll make it up.
No, I would never do that. All right. We have a lot to talk about. We want to start with practice obs. We'll get into what Vic Fangio had to say. Always excited to talk to Vic. And then a bunch of players after practice we spoke with. But let's just start with the day of practice, housekeeping items. The injury report from day 1 to day 2 was the exact same. So Jalen Carter and Kenyon Green did not practice. Jahad Campbell and Cam Jurgens were limited.
Jalen Carter, every snap, all the guys on defense run into the end zone. Jalen Carter would run from the sidelines, join them, sprint to the end zone, and go back to the sidelines. So he was involved with everything other than the actual play.
Yeah, and I noted that in my observations. I don't want to make a huge deal about that, but I don't know. He's a really important part of this defense, and I think that is a leadership trait to jump in and do that stuff.
There's no question about it. I was impressed with it. He doesn't have to do that. If he didn't do it, nobody would question him. I think, look, he's a superstar. He's a budding superstar, and I think the more he can kind of fit in with the other guys in the defense, the better it is. Guys look up to him. Young guys see that's Jalen Carter. He's running out every play, and he doesn't have to. I'm going to do that, and that's what leadership is. It's not always the rah stuff. It's doing the things you don't have to do to motivate your teammates, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did too.
And he looked fine.
Yeah, we shouldn't. It's a shoulder injury for Carter, so he better look okay. Jogging down.
I mean, he was sprinting. He was he was moving.
He was moving. As far as the actual injury is concerned, we get the sense it's not very significant. If it was, he would have been on either the PUP or the NFI list. So at some point they'll have him back. In a way, it's got to feel nice for the offense to not have him out there, because he's the type of player that sometimes he just wrecks a practice. Yeah. There are some players like that where, if he gets on one, or if he's a little ornery, or if someone gets to him, he has the chance to just wreck the entire day of practice and nothing gets accomplished. So it's probably a nice feeling right now for the offense to not have him out there.
Yeah, I'm not going to characterize him as a streaky player, but because when he's not making huge plays, he's still doing something good. But he does have that ability to string together a number of just dominating plays in a row. I mean, the end of the Rams game is an example of that, just unstoppable for a number of plays in a row. And
he's the type of guy too, where an offensive lineman gives him an extra little shove, and he's like, okay,
it's on.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, but sometimes in practice, it's, you want to see the actual practice. You don't want to just get ruined by one guy, and he has the capability to do that. Kenyon Green missing 2 days in a row. Already a veteran, has to fight for a job. As far as reclamation projects go, you're hoping that Jeff Stoutland can get something out of him, but not off to the best start.
It's not. He's not helping himself. I mean, he already had. I mean, I think he was already a long shot, and certainly not being on the field is not helping him.
Yeah, I don't want to say he's not helping him. He's hurt, but yeah, not ideal.
It's not helping.
Yeah. As far as Campbell and Jurgens, they still list them as limited. Cam is limited because he's not taking the full complement of reps. I don't really know if Jahad Campbell looks limited to me. He's taking every second team rep right now. He looks really good. I would assume that he'll come off this. Maybe it's because he can't contact yet, but they're not in pads anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and we don't know if they'll be in pads. So, but they will walk through tomorrow. They might be in pads Saturday. More likely, I would think Monday. I think they're off Sunday. I think Monday's probably the most likely day they'll come out in pads.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's the reason he's still limited,
Right.
but he looks good. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, he looks good. Cooper DeJean, obviously on the pup, but I watched him on the side field for a while.
Me too.
Early before practice. It got in a lot of good work.
Did you see him dancing?
I didn't notice that.
It was I actually Shazammed the song so I could identify it, but
what was it?
I haven't looked. I can't see my phone out there. There's so much glare. I could probably look it up.
This is a good reveal, right?
My Shazam library, but he was down at the end of the field, and the song came on, and he just started. It was it was a song called "Jump Around" by House of Pain.
Oh, Jump Around.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, okay, pretty popular song.
But yeah, he was getting after it.
Yeah,
and so that was good to see.
Okay. I was expecting a song that I'd never heard of before, but okay.
It was a song I've never heard of before.
Okay.
I don't spend a lot of time listening to House of Pain.
Okay.
House of Love, maybe. Different band.
And then there was another time during a special teams drill where he was kind of taking ghost reps next to Zach Bond. Because obviously it's funny. You see Zach Bond and Reed Blankenship on a side field during special teams working with their position coaches, and you go, oh, yeah, that's right. You guys are like integral members of the defense. Your special teams roles are going to be limited now. Yeah.
Vic was asked about Jacoby, and because obviously, is he ahead of schedule, and Jahad Campbell is ahead of schedule, and what did Vic say? Vic says he thinks the trainers routinely will give conservative estimates, so when a guy comes back early, they look good.
Yeah, he said they undersell to outperform or something like that.
And he said that might have been happening with Jahad Campbell because he didn't expect him back till August, which he had told us back in OTAs, and he's out there. And he was asked, is the same possible with Jacoby? He said no. So he's got a way to go.
Yeah. All right, you want to get into some depth chart stuff?
Yes.
Offense, Tyler Steen, still the right guard. Day 2 of this. He's got to get to day 4 to beat last year. So we'll monitor that as we go. He's the only guy taking right guard reps, so until he's not in there, it's his job.
Yeah, I hope we have a chance to talk to him soon, because it was about this time last year that through no fault of his own, he lost his job.
And it was day 3.
It was day 3, and that's what Saturday will be. So, hopefully we got a chance to talk to him. By all accounts, just talking to his teammates, they haven't padded up yet. They haven't done one-on-ones. That'll be the first real test for Tyler Steen, but so far so good.
Yeah, I saw him give up a pressure today. We'll get to that individual play, but no changes offensive line depth chart from 1 through 3. The only significant change offensively we saw Dorian Thompson-Robinson get the first crack at the QB3 job, but then Kyle McCord did rotate in. Yeah,
and I think McCord's already gapped him. I think that's fair to say.
I think so, but long way to go.
Yeah,
so
that's true for all these guys, but yeah.
The only other note I had offensively, well, I didn't put this one down because it was tough to tell, but I did think I saw Aniyah Smith get at least a couple of first-team reps today. It's just a reminder that outside of the top 3 receivers, a lot up for grabs.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Adoree Jackson it wasn't during a 7-on-7 or an 11-on-11. It was during a new drill, actually, one that I've never seen. It was 2 DBs and a receiver, and the first DB has to kind of try to shield or get in front of the football, and then the second DB's job is to run to a cone and then come up and mimic a form tackle. New drill. I don't know where. It's always fun when you see a new drill at practice because you're I don't know where that came from. But Adoree Jackson did get a quick little receiver rep.
Yeah, how about that?
I was joking with someone. I said I like the idea of 1 DB every year fighting to play on offense. I think that's fun.
Sure.
All right, defense. This is the meat of the depth chart stuff. They lined up in the base package. Cooper DeJean at safety next to Reed Blankenship. Eventually, when he moved up to the nickel spot, today it was Andrew Makuba first up at the safety next to Reed.
Yeah, and again, and we'll get into Vic in a little bit and everything he said, but he said where Cooper lines up is gonna, when he's not in the slot, is gonna have, I mean, it's gonna have as much to do with how the other guys are doing where they need him, then because he can handle all those positions. So it's going to be, where there's a deficiency, that's where you're going to put him. So it's almost like it has more to do with everyone else than him.
Kind of. Yeah. You got to find your best four.
Yeah.
And 3 of them.
Yeah.
So it's just, who's that fourth? Is it going to be Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson, or is it going to be Sidney Brown, Andrew Makuba? And you first have to figure out which of the, who it is. Right. And then you got to figure out which is better.
Yeah. So there's some good options there. And then you kind of see how it lines up. It's kind of a fun, I mean, look, this was the number 1 pass defense in the league last year. It's kind of fun to see where the puzzle pieces are going to fit this year.
Yeah. And it's fun because no one knows. Like, I don't really have an inclination of which way it's going to go.
I don't think Vic knows. I think he even said, I could guess, but he might have, who do you think? Who do you think will be the fourth?
I think the corner. I think it'll be Keely. And I think this is where we sit right now. I think Cooper will be a safety in the base package, and he'll be obviously slide up in the nickel.
Yeah, I would. Right now, I'd agree. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that's what they're doing right now. So maybe I'm influenced by that, but I do think that's eventually the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
So Makuba first crack at the safety job today. Sidney Brown did rotate in. Tristan McCollum rotated in. Andre Sam rotated in.
Where'd you come from, Andre?
How about that?
Yeah.
None of us think that Andre Sam is really competing for that job, but a guy we probably haven't talked about enough making the actual roster.
Good special teamer, and there's something they like about him, and I get it. He's a feisty kid. That's the word that kind of describes him best. He's not the biggest dude, but
he was with them last year. He's technically a first-year player, they call it, because he didn't really play as a rookie.
Yeah. I think, and in the NFL, if you're even in a camp and then get cut, after a day, you're not a rookie anymore. So it's a little different than baseball or NBA, but I don't know what hockey rookie rules are. Can you look that up? Maybe Alex can get on that. But I think it just seems like they want competition wherever it's possible. And if that means getting an Andre Samson, a first team rep here or there, they're going to do it. I like that. I think that's going to be the personality of this camp, as much competition. And look, there's some positions you're just not going to have it, but where it's possible, I think they want it.
Yeah. And it's worth noting that on day 1 of camp, it was Sidney Brown up first. Day 2, Makuba. Day 3 will be interesting. Do they go back to Sidney Brown, or do they go to Tristan McCollum? That'll tell us a lot about this competition, because Vic Fangio has included McCollum before, but words are words, actions are actions. So let's see what they actually do on day 3.
And I would guess it'll be Sidney, but we'll see. We'll be looking.
Cornerback, they also flipped from day 1 to day 2. Day 1, it was Keely Ringo out there first in 11 on 11. Today, on day 2, it was Adoree Jackson at the right cornerback position. But similarly to what they did on day 1, 11 on 11 flipped to 7 on 7. So you had Keely Ringo in 7 on 7s as a starter, and Adoree Jackson got 11 on 11. So they're both getting work there.
Yep. Because a lot is going to happen before any decision is made there.
The starting defensive line, Nolan Smith, Moro Ujima, Jordan Davis, Thomas Booker, and Jalix Hunt in the base package. When they went to nickel, Thomas Booker came off the field. Jordan Davis slid over a little bit. Linebackers were Zach Bond and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. with the first team. Second team, Jihad Campbell and Smile Munden.
And one of these days, we'll see Jihad Campbell with the ones.
Yeah, that's a fun. Let's jump ahead to that, because I have Jihad on my list. He hasn't made any spectacular plays yet, but he's fun to watch. He is quick. He's fast. I know Vic talked about, the instincts are so important for a young linebacker to get on the field. I haven't seen anything to show me he doesn't have those instincts. In a lot of ways, he reminds me of Zach Bond just because he covers so much ground. He's so long. He has those long arms. I can't wait to watch the two of those guys in the middle of this defense.
Yeah, here's the Eagles again, like every year, just too many linebackers. What are they going to do when Jamar Chaney comes off the NFI list? Yeah. I guess at this point, after 2 days, it's not about how many plays he's made. You just like to just watch the way he moves, and he's a big guy who's fast and athletic, and that's what jumps out at you.
Yeah, that shows.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, obviously, linebacker pads aren't on; they're not thudding, but so far, so good.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay. Let's get to Jalen Hurts. He was kind of the lead item on my obs today. There weren't any major spectacular plays, no diving catches today, no interceptions, nothing like that. But through 2 days of camp, the ball just like rarely hits the ground. Jalen is just like really locked in right now.
Yeah, I think, he looks like, he takes every rep so seriously and looks nothing like a guy that's got, he doesn't wear his ring. We had a little debate about whether he's even ever put it on. Well, we could talk about that later, but
we talked about it on the podcast.
Was it on the podcast? It was like walking over to the field or something.
No, we talked about it on the podcast.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't remember that. I
don't talk to you away from here.
But yeah, I'm just really impressed with his whole mentality, and he doesn't look. Are you okay? Where'd Dave go?
I dropped my pen.
Yeah, I don't have a pen. I'm not allowed to have a pen in here.
Well, I don't click it. I just hold it.
I don't click it because I don't have one, and it drives me crazy.
Well, I need to hold something when I speak.
Yeah, maybe I have some pen in my pocket. I have my roster. I'll hold my roster.
There you go. If you start crinkling that paper, you're gonna see my head explode.
All right, get rid of the roster. I've just been really impressed with him, and there's nothing in his demeanor that says I was a Super Bowl MVP. I was this, I was that. He just comes to work, and it sounds cliche and everything, but I don't know how common it is. I haven't covered a lot of Super Bowl champions, a couple of them now, but I'm just really impressed with. He just wants to keep getting better, and he's been great this summer so far.
I'm glad you mentioned the other one because Nick Foles was a gamer, was not the best practice quarterback.
That's true.
And that's not a knock on him. He would probably admit it. Like he just wasn't. And different guys work on different things in practice. They use it for different reasons. Nick was never like a great practice player. And Jalen, when
Nick Foles, he's talking about.
Yes, thanks, Nick Foles. He was never a great practice player. And early in Jalen's career, I would say he wasn't a great practice player.
Yeah, he
has become a great practice player. And I think it just kind of speaks to a lot of things. I think it's just like natural development. He's the kind of guy who keeps getting better every year, dating back to his college days, and also probably just a comfort level in the offense. I know there have been minor changes here and there, but a lot of the staples have remained under Nick. I just see like a real comfort level within the offense and with the players because he's played with a lot of these guys for a lot of years now.
Maybe this is what we were talking about walking back from the field today, how he's not a guy that takes a lot of risks at practice.
Typically not.
And some quarterbacks do. They want to see, can I get this ball through that tight window? They want to kind of test themselves that way. And maybe it turns into interception or incomplete pass. I don't get the sense he does that. I think he just kind of, he just wants to be efficient, whether it's a game or a practice. And he almost approaches practice the same way as a game where he's just not going to take undue risks. And, there's no right or wrong, whatever
works for you,
whatever works.
And sometimes coaches dictate it a little bit too, like what they want. Yeah. There was one in particular today where I'm watching and I think he's got Devontae and there's like a split second, like it's like he has to make a decision. Does he unleash it or not? And he looks it down, he turns it down, and then moves along in his progression. And it was one where I'm like, me watching as a spectator, I'm like, come on, pull the trigger. Let's watch this ball fly. But he didn't. And I think he's one of those guys who plays the way he practices, and that's fine. It seems like it works for him.
I would say so.
Yeah. A couple of throws I did want to highlight today. There was one down the field. It was on 7-on-7s to Dallas Goedert, and poor Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Had the right position, located the ball, put his arm up, and it was just out of his reach. It was just a perfect pass to Goddard, 20-yard gain or so. And Trot was in position. There were a couple of those for Trot today where he looked like he was in position and just couldn't make the play through no fault of his own. But then again, in my head, I'm thinking ahead going, well, Jahad Campbell's just longer, a little faster, has a chance to make that play.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And that's probably why Trot was such a late round pick. I mean, but you're glad he's in the right place, but yeah, physically he's not Jahad Campbell. Yeah. He just isn't.
And it's not a knock on him because it was like I said, I'm highlighting Jalen. It was a perfect pass.
Yeah.
And the other one was,
and Goddard looked good running. Didn't he? Look fast on that play.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Goddard last year in training camp, just a ton of balls going his way. If you watch training camp, sometimes you think, man, Dallas Goedert's going to have that 1,200-yard year, and it doesn't quite work out that way. The other one was Jalen rolled to his left and threw a bullet to Devontae Smith in team drills. And that's one of those plays where it was funny. I was standing next to Ashlyn Sullivan, our coworker, for that play. And I leaned in and I whispered to her, I was like, that's a play he doesn't make 2-3 years ago. Right? It's fun to watch a player, quarterback, grow and develop, because there were deficiencies in his game that you can tell he's worked on a lot.
He didn't have a good training camp 2 years ago, right? Was it 23?
Yeah.
He was, yeah, but I would agree with that. And it was a great throw.
Zach Bond knocked down a pass in the middle of the field. He gets to the ball so quickly. It was a Devontae Smith target. And it's funny, I wrote this too, but whenever there's a ball that hits the ground with that first team offense, it's like, what the heck happened? In this case, it was just a really good defensive player making a play.
Yeah, it hasn't happened very much, but Zach Bond's just always around the ball. He's gonna get his share of those.
I remember late in the season last year, we were talking to him about his confidence. It might have been after the season, actually. I don't think he would have said it during the season, but he said, late in the year, he went into every game thinking, I'm going to make a big play. And he did. It's like the confidence he was able to find throughout that year was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. He's, I can't wait to see what he does this year for an encore. He talked yesterday just about how much more comfortable he is now compared to this time last year, which makes sense. He was still new at this. He's still new at this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see what he can do.
And the thought of him and Jahad Campbell, how are teams going to throw in the middle of the field?
Yeah.
It's going to be a danger zone all over.
Highway to the danger zone.
There was another fun play where Cooper DeJean, I don't know if you saw this one. He leaped into a throwing lane and he made Jalen pump, and Jalen saw him in time and then was able to complete a pass. But it was kind of a fun little cat and mouse game there for a minute.
Did not see that rep.
Yeah. Okay. Moro Ujima had a couple of pressures today. One against Tyler Steen, forced Hurts to evacuate the pocket, rolled right out of there. But Ojima's looking good, and he's going to need to play a lot of snaps this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be a big topic, is how they're going to make up for those snaps. I think Milton played 48% last year, somewhere around there. He probably played close to 500. I think he played over 500 snaps.
He did,
I believe. 511.
I'll look it up for you.
I think it was 510, 511. And it'll be by committee. I mean, everyone's going to have to play more. Other than Jalen Carter can't play more.
501.
501. So I said 510 and 511. So it's kind of like a palindrome of those two numbers.
Yeah, unfortunately, we go by Price is Right rules here.
so if you're over,
yeah, I said 1 and I win.
I was off by 9 snaps. But anyway, they're all going to have to play more. And we'll talk in a bit about our conversation with Jordan Davis and his snap counts going up. So, yeah. I'm curious to see how many more he can take.
Yeah. I don't have a lot left on my list today. Kyle McCord had a chance for a big play and just airmailed a pass, one that he'd like back. I think for the most part, he's looked pretty good early on in his NFL career, but that's one where they're going to watch that on tape and he's going to go, how in the world did I miss a wide open EJ Jenkins? That was a gimme touchdown. It's a throw he just has to
make. Oh, the one on the left sideline?
Yeah.
I thought he could have made a better effort to catch it.
EJ Jenkins?
Was it that high over his head?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Andre the Giant's not coming down with that ball.
I was on the other side of the field. I was standing with somebody and we agreed that he maybe he could have caught it.
If he had go gadget legs, he could have gotten up there, but no, it was just an airmail.
It was, I mean, he definitely threw it too high.
Yeah. The only other thing I had, Johnny Wilson, I'm keeping an eye on him. He made a nice little grab on day one. Day two, it was just an individual drill route, but over the shoulder, adjusted in the air, got his feet down. You're starting to see like he wasn't the most polished receiver coming out of college. Big body, uses it well, but a lot of room for growth. And I'm curious to see where it goes. Because if you remember, he had such a good training camp as a rookie, and there was like a little bit of hype around him, and then it kind of tapered off as training camp went on, and then they traded for Jahan Dotson, and we kind of forgot about Johnny Wilson. But I think a lot of that potential is still there.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And he's got traits that very few guys have with that size. He's just got to catch the ball consistently. And yeah, he didn't do that when the very few chances he did get to play. So if he can catch the ball, certainly with his physicality, blocking ability, and size, could be a red zone threat. He has a chance.
Yeah. There was another rep too where he was lined up against Mac McWilliams on the outside, which is like a big size disadvantage for Mac. And sure enough, he gets called with a defensive hold. And I think that right there is the exact fear of McWilliams playing outside cornerback in the NFL. He did it at college at both stops, UCF and UAB, but it looks like his best position is going to be inside. And he's been playing both so far, 2 days in the camp. But just given his size, I think he's a better fit inside.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't mind them giving him some outside reps.
Sure. And look, he probably is most comfortable there, but he's got to learn how to play inside.
Yeah.
Anything else on
You didn't mention Tanner McKee. He made some nice throws today.
He did. Yeah.
He had that one to Dotson, I believe.
The crosser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dotson. So I did have Dotson on my list today. Caught a couple of nice crossers. One from Jalen Hurts, one from Tanner McKee.
Yeah, he did.
Both in rhythm.
The one from Tanner was just, it was a tight window. It was just a sweet throw, timing throw.
Yeah, Tanner's good. If anyone's thinking that like they're going to trade Tanner McKee and give the job to Kyle McCord, I don't think so. Like, it's a fun topic to talk about. Like, what could they get for Tanner McKee? Man, they have 13 draft picks next year, and Tanner McKee is their backup for 2 more years.
Yeah, and
he's really good. Like, I think he does have starter potential, and I think a team would have to really wow them.
Yeah, I don't think Howie would do it for a 2.
A 2?
Yeah. I don't think he would do it for a 2 right now. I think a 1, I don't know if I was going to give up a 1 for a guy who's started 1 game. I think he's really good. He's got some good film out there. I'm sure he's getting calls about him, but you're trying to win a Super Bowl. That number 2 quarterback is a really important. Like, what was Tanner on the top 25? He was like 16.
We didn't have him that high. It had him at like 20 or something.
Okay. That's an important spot.
Yeah.
I remember having that conversation with Big Red after what year? What was the Mike McMahon year? Was that 05 when Donovan got hurt and Mike McMahon was the backup? Remember how bad he was?
Mm-hmm.
Was he Rutgers guy?
Yeah, you need a backup quarterback.
That was 05. 8 interceptions, 5 touchdowns, passer rating of 55.2.
Yeah, that's the second level of the conversation, which is just all hypothetical anyways. Like, would you trade him? You would need to find another backup quarterback.
Yeah, but and the point was, the next year he went out and got Jeff Garcia. And it's like, we need, and he said that 2005 season impressed upon me how important it was to have a good back, a really good backup.
And Howie's talked about it, right? Like, especially with the season ever expanding, that like more games, more chance the quarterback gets hurt, and you need a backup you can trust. Anything else from practice today?
It was warm.
It was warm. It was toasty. I was thinking it wasn't a fun day to be Swoop.
Man, how does he do that?
I don't know. Saw Reggie today for the first time of training camp.
Oh, was Reggie out there?
Reggie the dog. What's the ambassador of happiness or something? Ambassador of joy, I think.
Something like that.
Is his official title. Saw Vinny Curry.
Vinny Curry was
another
there.
Guy who brings us joy. Always good to see Vinny.
Had a good chat with Vinny.
Yeah. All right. You want to move on?
But he did not play with Eric Allen. I keep looking.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a little break and we'll talk about what Vic Fangio and a bunch of players had to say after the break.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today.
We're back on the Eagle Eye Podcast presented by Nissan. Reuben, Frank, Dave Zangaro. Always good to talk to Vic Fangio.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. The novelty of speaking to a guy who actually tells us the truth has not worn off yet. Like, I still enjoy it very thoroughly.
And what I enjoy most is his little passive-aggressive commentary about practice length that he always invariably finds a way to get in there. We're just going to keep getting better and better with the time that's allotted to us. like he wants to be out there for 3.5 hours a day, and it's not going to happen. So he doesn't like short practices.
He does not. All right. You already brought up one of the topics I wanted to hit on with Vic about Cooper in the base package. So give me something else from Vic today that kind of stood out to you.
Well, we also touched on, he said, the increased snaps in the inside is going to be by committee. It's not like going to be one guy who's going to get a ton more snaps.
How about defensive tackle?
Defensive tackle. We'll talk about Jordan Davis in a second, but I think he's going to have the biggest increase. I think he's going to have to. That was interesting. What stuck out in your mind from Vic?
Talk about Jihad Campbell a little bit. That he gave that line about the training staff maybe misleading him purposely to make themselves look good, which was a very funny moment. But also I asked him like what you're looking for in a young linebacker, and instincts was the first thing he said, which is something that like makes sense, but also probably not as coachable as a lot of other elements of a player's game. So a lot of that's just going to have to be on Jihad Campbell to show that, like, once you understand the defense, that you're able to just, without thinking, kind of be in the right position.
And the one thing Zach Bond said about Jihad, and he made it clear, he's like, look, I haven't seen him play yet, so I don't want to say too much, but he said he gets the game. He said he just understands that he has a innate understanding of the game, and that's why he just looks really comfortable out there.
The other thing I have on my list was about Quinyon Mitchell playing the left side. And Vic admitted that, yes, like that is a precursor to possibly thinking about letting him travel with top receivers. And it doesn't mean they're definitely going to do it. And I think even when they do, if they do, it'll be kind of a week-to-week, player-to-player basis. I don't think it's just going to be like, hey, good receiver this week, you're traveling. I think there are more factors involved in that, because he brought up the point too that like there are a lot of variables with a defense when you decide to do that. So you have to make sure the juice is really worth the squeeze.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's going to be who's the second receiver too. Like if you have a big gap between one another, but we talked to Quinyon a little too after practice. He didn't seem to have any preference.
That is, I know he's a quiet guy when he talks to us, but that is something that like some cornerbacks are very vocal about, like, hey, I want to do this. This is a badge of honor for cornerbacks to get to travel with receivers. So I think it's notable that he doesn't seem to at least publicly be pushing for that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Who knows what's going on inside the building, but he's just the kind of guy that's like, just put me where you want to put me and I'll be fine. And he was asked about Oh, that was the other thing Vic said. That was it was pretty
Real quick.
fun.
I just want to make I don't think I explained that well enough. So Darius Slay last year was you wanted to retire that, I thought.
I made a mistake.
Yep. Slay last year was the left cornerback and Quignon played the right. So ever since OTAs this year, Slay's been gone. It's been Quignon on the left. So he did flip sides. And Vic was asked about, there used to be this old notion that the left cornerback would get more action because you have right-handed quarterbacks. That's kind of the way they're throwing. But Vic is like, I think we've all just kind of dispelled that myth.
Yeah. And the other thing was somebody was trying to get him to talk about Quignon stepping up with Slay gone. And, is he kind of taken to being the number one corner? And Vic is not going to suffer fools, and he just said Slay was 40 yards away from him. The field's 54 yards. Like, if Slay, they weren't playing together. He just won't give you that quote that, that you want if it doesn't make sense. So that was fun.
It was fun. Anything else from Vic?
No.
Okay. Let's talk about Jordan Davis, because he was kind of I almost said big guy, but not that big guy talking today. How much weight did he lose?
Said he lost 26 pounds. Wow. Said he reported 330.
In the afternoon? That's a dumb joke.
It was so dumb. He said, and I asked him about, like, at the end of last year, he was starting to lose weight and he was playing better and he was making more of an impact. He wasn't playing a lot of pass rush downs, but he had a couple, I think he had 3 hurries in the postseason. He had 1 during the regular season. He had 2 sacks, had a sack in the Super Bowl. He just was starting to show that he could maybe be more than just a run stuffer. And he said he was really motivated by that. He said, I realized that the lighter I was, the more things I could do. So I really wanted to get to a weight that would allow me to be a guy that's not, he said riding the bench on third down every snap. He said I want to be an every down player. I want to play more snaps. I want to make a difference on second. I want to be out there on second and long. I don't want to be, sitting on the bench. And when you draft a guy 13th overall, you want that. And he said they told me from up high 330. You're reporting at 330, and he did. And whether it makes that much of a difference, we'll see. But I think it's something he had to do. He played 30 some odd percent of the snaps last year, 37%. I think 388 snaps. You can look that up. That's not enough. I mean, when you're the 13th player in the draft, you can't be that situational. So we'll see where it goes. He looks great. He feels great. Vic's really happy for him. And Vic said, they both said, like, you don't have to worry about him not being able to stuff the run. I mean, he's still 330. And Jordan said, I can still do all the things I did when I was bigger. I can just do more now. So encouraging. And obviously, there's a contract situation coming up there. So we'll see what happens and how much this kind of results in an increase in production and where that takes his value.
I'm excited to watch it. Nolan Smith said, they gave a little anecdote today that, he'll be out there whenever he looks at Jordan and Jordan doesn't seem tired. He's like, well, I can't be tired. Because I think it's like a lot of years being near that guy where, he would get tired and he would have to come off the field. So encouraging steps. If you're listening to this and you're rolling your eyes going, we've been down this road before. I don't know if we've made it this far on the road. I think we've started to go down that road and then we veered off. We're farther along this road than I think we've been before.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think it's fair to be a little skeptical because, he's been up and down and he said all the right things in the past as well. So let's see where it goes.
Talked to Cooper DeJean a little bit. First about playing safety and corner in addition to his role as a nickel. He said he's enjoying it. He's enjoying the challenge of it. He understands that this means he gets to not leave the field, and obviously he wants to do that. He said ever since he got drafted, though, he's been learning those other positions, at least from the sense of in the playbook. So it's not like he's playing catch up there. The most tangible thing he has to learn is different technique to play safety or boundary corner. And he said that's kind of what is the bulk of the work for him as he actually starts to play these positions.
Yeah. No question in my mind, he can excel at wherever he's put, wherever he ends up. Might take a little bit, but it's really something to have a player who's that malleable. Is that the word? And that versatile is the word.
Yeah, versatile is the word.
Well, I like malleable. You can make him into anything you want. So gives him a lot of flexibility back in the secondary.
I also asked him about the AJ Brown All-Pro Coop label. He said the first time AJ said it to him, he thought he was like joking, but AJ explained to him like, no, I want to make you that player. And so that's kind of a fun dynamic in the building because they don't really line up against each other all that much. I did notice one play. It was that new drill they did today where they were like, Cooper was like messing with him before the play, like really like grabbing his hands, and like they were like slap fighting each other before the rep even went. So it's fun to see those little things we saw with AJ and Quinyon last year. And I think we're seeing a little bit with him and Coop this year.
Yeah. Somebody speaking of Quinyon and that AJ rep from yesterday, which is like the play of the year so far. Somebody told Quinyon that there was a flag on the play. There was no flag on the play, was there?
I don't think so.
Maybe he was saying that AJ thought there should have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a clean play. But anyway, Coop must be so happy to just be back on the field.
Well, he was asked about his off season. It was a lot. He couldn't pick like the coolest or his favorite thing that he did, but he was like, it was crazy. It was crazy. I think he enjoyed the spoils of winning the Super Bowl, but I think part of him's pretty happy to be back on that field.
Yeah, I would think it was a lot.
He was everywhere.
He really was. Yeah.
I don't blame him. 22-year-old kid has a pick six on his birthday in the Super Bowl.
Off the greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who else did we talk to today? Talked to Reed Blankenship a little bit just about the guys filling in next to him. He seems to like all those different combinations. He said it's fun to be in a battle, like when your position group has a battle going on.
Yeah.
Kind of just everyone's excited all the time. I don't have much else from Reed though.
It was funny. He was talking about how he's one of the old guys. He's just like started laughing. It's like he's 26 and he's one of the oldest guys on the defense.
He is, and for a guy who was undrafted not that long ago to be the leader of the secondary at 26 years old is pretty wild.
It is.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, we talked to Nolan Smith, second person to just rave about Jalix Hunt. There's a lot of buzz about Jalix Hunt, and we're probably getting ahead of ourselves a little bit with all of it. But man, sometimes you just feel that there's excitement around the player, and there's a lot of excitement around Jalix.
Yeah, and it's guys on both sides of the ball kind of raving about him. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the record as saying 8 to 10 sacks, so that might be a little aggressive, but boy, the way if he can improve half as much from the end of last year to this year as he did from the beginning of last year to the end of last year, you're going to have a Pro Bowler. I mean, it's just and there's so much ceiling. I mean, there's so much room for more because he's still new at this. So, yeah, he's an exciting player.
Anything else that you really want to hit on from post-practice?
Oh, we talked to Dallas Goedert. He just talked about how happy he is to be here. People were asking him about next year. He's like, look, I just signed. I'm just happy I'm here for another year. He talked about his injuries a little bit. He said the soft tissue hamstring's the only one that really he blames himself for, that was a product of maybe not being, taking care of himself as well as he should have. He said all the other ones, ankle, foot, when he had the collarbone, I mean, that kind of stuff. He said it's just bad luck. And he said he'd love to stay healthy, but there's stuff out of your control. It's a violent game. So that's the next step for him. I mean, if he can play 15 or 16 games, he's going to have a chance to be a Pro Bowler. I just don't know if he can do that.
Yeah. Anything else?
Who else did we talk to? That might be about it.
Okay. We talked to Landon a little bit. He said Jordan Davis looked good.
Landon had what was that quote he had right at the beginning?
This year's team is dead or or last year's team was dead or whatever it was.
Something about expiration date.
Oh, like every team has an expiration date.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
I also noticed Vic brought a looked like blueberry smoothie up to the podium. You a smoothie guy?
No.
No, not at all?
No.
Okay.
Iced tea.
Questions?
Let's take some questions.
Eagle-eyed NBCUni.com QR code is on the screen. First one from Jerry. Dave, Reuben, why do reporters still slap down recording devices in front of coaches and players when everything is live streamed and accessible on social media? Also, a quick shout out to Berwick, PA. Guy from yesterday, my high school's biggest gridiron rival back in the day. They always beat us Cougars.
Well, something might be on social media. It doesn't mean I have immediate access to it. I record all the interviews, and then as soon as it's recorded, I can run it through my transcriber, and I have a transcript of it. I mean, the interview being on social media is not helping me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can listen to it other places. I also just I like my system.
Same. I have a good system.
Used to my system.
Works for me. I have a potential new system.
Okay. Yeah, but also I don't want to rely on anyone else if I don't need to.
Right. And who knows, maybe it won't show up on social media for a few hours. I need the quotes now.
Well, they live stream it.
Yeah, but maybe the audio is not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just a lot of variables. I just want to have it. I just want to know I have it. I ordered this new recorder last night.
Oh,
that automatically transcribes all the interviews in real time. So I can record an interview, and you don't even need to be online. It's all AI. It's all built in. So as soon as the interview's over, I'll have a transcript immediately. And there's no fee. There's no monthly. So I could get rid of my transcribing service for $10 a month. And in a year, it'll pay itself off. So I should have that in the next few days. It's shipped this morning.
Okay.
And I'll report back.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that update. I don't use a transcriber. I don't use a transcribing service. I do it the old school way. I'm a pretty quick transcriber, though.
Yeah, I mean, it saves so much time for me. So
yeah. I in a way, I kind of enjoy going back through it. It helps me have a better sense of what they said, how they said it. But I don't know. I'll be interested to hear the update from you.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Next question is from David. Hey guys, great show. You went over your list of the top 25 most important Eagles, but what I would want to know is who you think is indispensable to a Super Bowl repeat. Who, if lost to injury or if they aren't what we think, would cost them the repeat, assuming everyone else is healthy? Is there anyone?
I think the quarterback's kind of important, but I mean, I think that's what the list is. It's who's most indispensable from top down. You lose Jalen Carter. I mean, that might be a bigger loss than Saquon. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what we try to do with the 25 is look at what they have at the position aside from that. But ultimately, the best players are the best players, and you got to go with that. In terms of drop off, if they lose one of the tackles, they're in trouble. If they lose one of the receivers, they're in trouble. Yep. They lose Saquon, not great.
I do think Jahan Dotson had a good day today. I like watching him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Want to do one more?
Yeah.
This one is from John. We've been hearing about Keely Ringo's raw talent and upside / potential since the day he was drafted. Is this a make or break camp / season for him as an Eagle?
I wouldn't say it's a make or break, but I mean, it's an important year for him, and he's got an opportunity to win that job. And if he doesn't, I don't know when he might get that opportunity again.
I think it is.
So I think I wouldn't disagree with that. Now it's possible.
You just talked yourself into that?
I think I did.
Yeah.
It's possible that he doesn't win it this year and circumstances lead him to another opportunity at some point and he takes advantage of it. But
here?
Yeah, because I mean, Dory Jackson's an older guy, so I don't think it's not like he's going to be around a bunch of years. I don't know what next year would look like. It could be a close competition. Dory just wins it, and maybe Keely comes in later in the year and starts playing. There's just a lot of variables. So I'm not going to say it's a slam dunk that if he doesn't win it opening day, starting corner, write him off for the rest of his career here. but I think there's a fairly good chance
Yeah.
that he won't get this opportunity again.
Yeah, it's right there for him. It's year 3. He's got to beat out a 29-year-old guy who seems to already be on the decline, a guy who couldn't see the field last year for a Giants team that needed cornerbacks. I think they want him to win this job.
No
So
doubt.
it's like, man, if he doesn't do it this year, I think my confidence in him would be really shaken. And I've been bullish on Keely Ringo for a couple of years now.
The only reason I would hedge it a little bit is he just turned 23.
Mhm.
I think like 3 weeks ago. So he's a young guy. They hold his rights for another year, so he'll be here if they want him. So I just don't think it's a slam dunk. If there was another young corner, that they really liked, maybe Eli Ricks, I don't know, but I think there's a chance that this is not a make or break year, but I think there's a very good chance it is. So, like
you talked yourself in and out of that.
80-20. Yeah.
You started off no, went to yes, and then I think you landed on no.
Well, I think it's important to workshop your answers as we go. But no, I mean, when you think about it, like we've seen guys who don't win jobs at the first opportunity and eventually do. You see that for a young guy without a clear. I mean, I don't think Adoree Jackson's going to be here next year, no matter what happens. So then what do you have? Maybe they draft a guy. Maybe you start looking at Coop as an outside corner. I don't know, but I like Healy, and I think he's got a good chance.
All right, sounds good. Eagle Eye NBCUni.com. QR code on the screen for another second. Pause it if you want to scan that. This is where I tell everyone, if you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast and you appreciate daily podcasts whenever the Eagles practice in training camp, please rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the like button and subscribe there as well. Rube, any final thoughts?
Just no pod tomorrow. There's a walkthrough. We're not welcome there. So we'll be back. Do we work weekends? We'll do a pod Saturday.
Yeah, I want to.
All right, we're going to work weekends, and then they're off Sunday, and then we're back Monday.
All right, sounds good. Reuben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. This has been Eagle Eye, presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.